Welcome to the Celiac Diaries podcast. I'm your host, Lucia Cordero, and this is where we get real about life with celiac disease. Each week, I'll share practical gluten-free tips, wellness hacks, and honest conversations about the emotional side of living with an autoimmune condition. Think of this as your weekly mix of support, relatability, and inspiration to help you not just survive, but thrive with celiac. Before we dive in, just a quick reminder, I'm not a medical professional. Everything I share is based on my own experience living with celiac disease. This podcast is not medical advice, so please always consult your doctor about your own health. Hi guys, welcome back to the Celiac Diaries podcast. I'm your host, Lucia Cordero, and I'm so excited for today's episode because we have a special guest with us in the studio. And our very first guest on the podcast, Natasha Badger. Thank you so much for coming.
Hello. I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So if you guys do not know Natasha, she is an NYC-based influencer and corporate marketing girly who also has celiac disease. You do so much. I have a whole spiel about you to say. She's also the founder of the Marketing Group, which is a career dining club for marketers in New York City. And I'm just so excited to get into everything about how you balance it all while having celiac disease. So before we get into everything, we have a couple segments on the podcast to get us started. So first up, we have news of the week.
Ooh, okay. I'm excited for this.
All right, so today's news story is that there's a new modern bread and bagel location opening in Tribeca. Have you heard about this?
No way. Wait, did you also see that they're opening in Penn Station?
Oh my God, no.
Yeah, because I go to
exciting.
Jersey a lot. My boyfriend lives in is from Jersey, so I'm in Penn Station quite often, and I noticed that they're opening one there. I was like, perfect. Now I can grab modern bread and bagel while I'm traveling.
Wait,
but I didn't know
so
Tribeca.
Clutch. Oh my God. They're just popping up everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty new chain too, right? They started in 2019, I think.
I don't know. I think the first time I went was one of my first trips to New York City before I moved here, 4 years ago. And I was like, I love this place. It's still one of my favorite places.
No, I'm obsessed. What's your order? What do you get?
Oh, I get so I'm also I'm gluten-free and dairy-free. So I get the bacon, egg, and cheese, but the dairy-free version.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, and we can get more into this later, but why are you dairy-free as well?
I have Eosinophilic esophagitis, EOE, on top of my celiac disease. So that gives me a dairy allergy.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Wow, that's even more to balance, being gluten-free, dairy-free, and everything else you do.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Keeping up with our little weekly segments, next up we have our gluten-free fave of the week. So this is just sharing a gluten-free product or restaurant that you've been loving lately. So I'm happy to go first.
Yeah, I want to hear yours.
I've been loving RX bars. Do you eat those?
I do. I feel like those were they're an OG. You know what I mean?
They are an OG.
A classic. You can find them everywhere.
Yeah. I just love them. They have them at my office.
Mm-hmm.
And they're they sell them for 20 cents in our little market.
Oh, really? Wait, that's so cheap.
Yeah, I know, right? Because usually at a bodega it'd be $3 or something. Mm-hmm. And I just always have a craving for them at 3 p.m. every day.
Yeah.
And they're so good.
They hit the spot. I feel like they have a lot of protein too, which is nice. My favorite, so I love Sweet Loren's, or I'm not sure how you pronounce it.
Okay, I haven't heard of that.
Wait, Sweet Loren's cookies?
No.
Oh my God, Lucia, you need to try them. These are the best gluten-free cookies on the market.
Really?
So it's this, it's female founded, also love that. Their packaging is all pink, very fun branding. Okay. I love them. I also, I'm very a fan of their brand. Their head of social media is also a LinkedIn influencer, and she's just awesome too. She's marketing, creator, all that stuff.
Wait, so
But the
fun.
cookies are gluten-free and totally vegan, so they're all healthily made, I guess. And
the whole brand is gluten-free?
Yeah,
it's not
everything.
Wow.
So they've been starting to come out with new products. So they came out with a cookie that was the original product line, and now they do I think a pie crust. But I just tried one of their flavors, the caramel cookie, and I had them last night. It was really good. So that's my product of the week.
That sounds so good. Where can you get them?
Whole Foods.
Okay.
I think Amazon too. I find them at a lot of places. Like their distribution's getting nice and like broad.
Okay, love that. All right. So before we get into like all the meat of the episode, I have some rapid fire questions for you to get us started. I think I know your answer to the first one based on your Instagram story today, but matcha or coffee?
Matcha.
Love. What type of milk do you do since you're dairy-free?
I do macadamia nut milk is my favorite.
Ooh.
Then almond, and then coconut.
Ooh, okay. Good options. Does Chicago or NYC have better gluten-free options?
New York City. But it's close. It's close.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I feel like they're pretty comparable. If you could make any restaurant 100% celiac safe overnight, which one would it be?
Corner Bistro in the West Village. It's like my boyfriend and I's favorite late night drink spot that we always end up at. And they apparently have the best burger in New York City, but I've never been able to try it, obviously. And if
they don't have a gluten-free bun?
No.
Sad.
Or like they have like tater tots and fries, and it's just like every time I'm there late at night with a drink, I'm like, I want a burger so bad. And so that would be mine.
Okay, what's your favorite gluten-free restaurant in New York City?
Modern Bread and Bagel, we already talked about.
Okay.
I do love Wild. They're 100% gluten-free as well. Their pesto pasta is so good. And Union Square Cafe is not like dedicated gluten-free, but they do a really good job of making sure that you are feeling safe, and they have like really good options. They can do almost anything gluten-free, and they're like super high quality food and service. So if you're looking for like an upscale like dining experience, I love dining there.
Okay. Love. I need to check it out. Sweet or savory?
Sweet.
One gluten-free snack you always have in your work bag?
Lately, it's been the mezcla bars. I don't know if that's how you say it either. They're like the rice puff bars.
Wow, you're so in the know of all the new products. I haven't heard of any of these.
I think I get targeted ads for like almost all of them, and then I buy them. So
as you should. Okay, last question. What's one thing you wish more people understood about living with celiac disease?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is the like invisible burden that we have to carry when you have celiac disease. Just every single time, like what I always tell people who don't have celiac or don't understand what it is or what it means is like, imagine every single time like you need to fuel your body with food, you have to either ask someone what ingredients are in that piece of food, like when you're at a restaurant to a waiter, or you have to like look on a label, and like you're always like second guessing if you're feeling safe with what you're eating. And so it's not something obviously that you can like see, but it sort of weighs on you with like just the simplest task that you need to stay alive as a human is like a burden to do. So I think that's like the biggest thing, and what I always tell people when they are like confused about what it means to be celiac.
Yeah, totally. I agree. It just feels like you always have to have it in the back of your mind, and you can never shut that part off. Yeah. All right. Well, with that in mind, I'm just curious, like, when were you diagnosed with celiac disease? How did you find out about it? And also, I'm curious too, like, when were you diagnosed with, how do you pronounce it again?
EOE.
EOE. Okay. That's a good acronym.
It's easier that way.
Yeah. And like, how did that play into your celiac diagnosis too?
Yeah. So they happen at the same time.
Okay.
So I was diagnosed in 2020, the best year ever.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Pre-COVID or post-COVID?
Post-COVID.
Okay.
So October of 2020. So we were like a little bit into COVID. This was my senior year of college, and throughout college, I had always sort of had stomach issues. And actually, I had done like a 23andMe test when I was in high school when it first came out. And I had the celiac like variant, but I didn't do anything about it. I guess I just didn't care.
I didn't know that was in the 23andMe.
Yeah, it's in your health data. That's like the only variant I have of like any health issue. And I don't know why I never got tested for it. But anyways, I had these stomach issues, and then I started getting like really bad symptoms, actually more for my EOE, which is like an esophageal inflammation. And so I was having trouble like swallowing and like eating food basically. And so finally, after like 6 months of just being in horrible pain every time I ate food, I went to the GI doctor, I explained my symptoms, and they were like, first textbook, you have EOE. Like I could diagnose you on the spot, but like they have to give you an endoscopy in order to do that. And then they're like obviously standard because you are describing symptoms of celiac or IBS or whatever, like other gastrointestinal issues, that we should just do a standard like panel screening. So they took my blood for celiac disease, but I didn't really think anything of it. And then I got a call 2 days later that they were like, hey, you have celiac disease. And that was pretty much it. And then I got my endoscopy a couple of days later and
confirm both of them?
Confirmed, that it was celiac disease. And they were like, yeah, you can see here, like your entire lower intestine is damaged, like all the villi are like crushed. And you also have EOE. So that basically happened within like 1 week. And I started going gluten-free. And I was working with a nutritionist, of course, like alongside this. And I remember telling her, like, the second that I went gluten-free, I was like, I feel like a normal human again. Like, this is crazy. Like, I feel so good. Within a week, I was like, whoa, I feel just normal again.
Wow, that's incredible.
So that was my story of how it all happened. And here we are 5 years later.
Oh my gosh. Was it like more difficult or easier to get diagnosed during like COVID times when like people weren't like going out to eat as much and you were cooking at home? Like, what was that experience like? Were you in Colorado at the time?
Yeah. Okay. I was in CU Boulder, like where I went to college.
Yeah.
And I was living in like my own housing with friends.
Okay.
So it was a little bit interesting because I had to understand like how to live with roommates with being gluten-free. Like suddenly, one, I had to clear out all my food. And then I was like, oh, they don't really tell you much. The nutritionist sort of guides you, but I like started reading stuff online and realizing that like soy sauce isn't gluten-free. And like, oh, if you share peanut butter with your roommates, like you can't do that anymore unless they use like a different knife and like don't cross-contaminate, things like that, that I all of a sudden had to change those small things that I hadn't realized would be an impact of celiac disease other than just like eating gluten-free. But in terms of the diagnosis, going through like the GI doctor, that was like actually really easy to do during COVID. And then going out was probably like a better way to transition because we weren't going out as much back then. So it was nice that all of a sudden I had this huge change in my life. But on top of that, it didn't impact as much of my life as it probably would now in terms of like my lifestyle changes.
Yeah, for sure. Kind of like ease into like
exactly
before like going out to restaurants and things like that. Yeah. What was it like emotionally? Like, were you just like so excited to finally feel better, or were you like, did you have a grieving process for gluten and dairy?
Yeah, honestly, the former of what you said. I was so excited to not have like the pain I was feeling anymore that I was like, I don't even care. This is fine. Like, I think that the grieving came like 1 or 2 years later after like I think when I was diagnosed and I was like, oh, like the pain's gone, whatever, like now I'm already someone who eats pretty healthy, so I was like, it's easy to, I already know how to look for like gluten ingredients in food. So in terms of that process, it was like easy to transition. But then after 2 years of it, I was like, oh, this is forever. Like, this is not like a thing that's going to end. Like, I'm always going to have to do this for the rest of my life. Yeah. And that's when I was like, oh my God, this is like a huge deal that this happened. I think that's when it hit me, like a couple of years after the diagnosis.
Yeah, no, totally. Because when you first hear forever, you're like, you don't have a concept of that yet. You're just kind of like, okay, like just take things day by day and figure it out. And exactly. Because I remember like I had that moment too. I was diagnosed in middle school, so I like wasn't thinking about forever. And then whenever I was in college, I was kind of had like a similar experience to you in a sense, because like how you were saying, like you were doing a lot of research about like what celiac was and cross-contamination, like a lot of those types of things I didn't even really learn until college, because when I was diagnosed in middle school, like I wasn't doing my own research about it just because I was 11 and like didn't really care. Yeah. It was like mainly my parents. So I kind of had to relearn it in college. But how did you like approach like learning about celiac disease when you were diagnosed? Like, did you find anything helpful online, or like how did you learn beyond like what your dietitian was telling you?
Yeah. So I also want to hear like how your parents guided you through. Like, does anyone else in your family have celiac?
No, it's just me.
Okay.
Everyone else got tested too.
Did they know did they like dive in and like help you, or like was it like were you sort of on your own?
Well, I feel like when I was 11, like I wasn't cooking any of my meals. I wasn't taking myself out to eat. So I feel like they just managed everything. Like they bought the groceries, they like planned the meals. They told my friends' parents if I was going to their house, like what I could and couldn't eat. They packed my lunch every day. So like, yeah, they just kind of managed it. And like they told me, you know, about it obviously and like what to say. And I would, you know, start to order at restaurants. But I was so like, they really like took over.
Yeah, that's so nice. And then when you went to college, it was like you had to suddenly start doing that yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that must have been, I mean, it's just a different experience. But you probably went through the same thing where you're like having to suddenly manage it yourself.
Right. But I was still like used to not eating gluten.
Yeah.
It was just more so like managing it for myself. So I wasn't like missing gluten.
Yeah. But to answer your question about research, I think I just like started Googling it and looking on social, and I found podcasts on it. I remember like going on hikes in Colorado and just like I like doing solo hikes. So I'd go on a solo hike and just listen to a podcast on being gluten-free. And something that I noticed was that all of the resources out there were targeted towards parents, because a lot of people who were diagnosed were like you, like 11 or like younger. Like when you're a kid, you're diagnosed because probably someone already in the family already had celiac, or they just noticed earlier on. Yeah. And there were less resources for if you were diagnosed when you're like 20s to 30s, when you're in like the middle, I guess, of or the beginning of your adult life. And so it was fun to see, or maybe I just didn't know they existed until I sort of like explored more on Instagram, but starting to see a lot of influencers pop up around being gluten-free who were like around in a big city, like looking at new restaurants and like sharing recipes and things like that, and sort of normalizing being celiac or having celiac. So a lot of my learning started with like basic, I guess, Google, and then just starting to follow influencers as that sort of became a thing out of 2020.
That's so cool. So I'm curious, like whenever you were growing up, did you have any symptoms, you think, or do you think that your celiac didn't really like trigger itself until you were in college?
I think it triggered in college.
Okay.
That's my theory, because I didn't have symptoms until college, but I just thought it was like hot girl stomach problems.
Yeah. Well, it is. Two things can be true.
Yeah.
All right. I kind of want to get more into like your life now. You're such a busy bee. We were just talking before this. You were in South Carolina over the weekend for a wedding. You're always on the go. You have a really cool job and a really cool side hustle. You're a founder of the marketing group. So what for you was like the biggest challenge in terms of keeping up with your gluten-free diet in the midst of being on the go all the time?
Yeah. I think the hardest thing balancing everything is the fact that I need to be able to like have quick, easy grab and go or like eat on the fly snacks and food. And I do travel a lot. So like that's literally impossible to find at any airport.
The airport gluten-free options are the worst.
Yeah.
They're like non-existent.
So bad. And then traveling, like I always have to like, there's that added layer every time I need to go on a business trip or like a personal trip to bring like all of my, in case I get glutened, like supplements and teas and everything that I just use to make myself feel better. And then like
what's your routine with that? I'm so curious.
Yeah. I feel like it's pretty basic, and it was some influencer that I'm blanking on who it was, but I just sort of followed what she does to like make myself feel better. I get these special like antacid, like mint antacid.
Okay. Like a Tums, but
pill,
different?
like Tums, yeah, but a little bit different, and I don't know what they're called, that just sort of like calm my body, I feel like. And then I take like a turmeric tea because that helps with de-inflammation. Yeah, I love turmeric. It just sort of helps my body feel better. And then I drink a lot of water and like lie down.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. I feel like it's pretty basic, but like bringing those things just makes me feel like safe and prepared.
No, totally.
Yeah.
I love that. I've never thought to do that.
And then I bring my own like snacks and food every time I travel too. But bringing that on top of
like actual food or just kind of like prepackaged snacks?
I bring like oatmeal for the mornings.
Oh, smart.
Purely Elizabeth oatmeal packets.
Nice.
And then I bring like any of the bars that I'm into as like a snack to just quickly eat. Depending where I'm going to, I'll bring like ramen packets, even like gluten-free ramen if I'm going internationally somewhere.
That's so smart. Yeah, you got to get them through TSA.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think like bringing the traveling piece of everything that I do, because I do travel a lot, and then just when I'm like at home, like if I need to Uber Eats something, or I need to like I can't just like run into a restaurant after work, or like I can't just go to a bodega and like grab a sandwich or like a slice of pizza like everyone else does when you're like in a rush in New York City. Like you have to be like, okay, let me like Google and then go to like find my gluten-free or whatever that app is to like make sure it's celiac safe. And then like narrow down the choices and like, can I walk there or do I have to take this out? Like there's all these logistics there are to just find somewhere safe to eat. And so that's like those two things are the biggest like challenges.
Yeah, no, totally. I agree. I'm curious, like take us through a day in your life of like what you typically eat. If you have like do you kind of eat the same things every day, or do you have like a little routine with it? I know you're also always exploring like new restaurants.
So I don't cook very much. I
feel like that's classic New York. I really don't cook either.
Like I don't cook. Well, I make my own food, but I don't cook like extravagant meals.
Exactly.
If you know what I mean?
No, I prepare foods. I don't cook.
yeah, exactly. So every morning I have a smoothie. That's something I started like the day I was diagnosed. I was like, okay, well, all my options are pretty limited. So I've made pretty much the same smoothie every morning for the last 5 years. It's like berries, banana, almond butter, and protein powder. It's really good. So good. It's my favorite. So that's always a staple. I have my matcha as well in the morning, and then my supplements. And lunch and dinner can totally vary, but it's normally some type of bowl or like avocado toast on gluten-free bread for like lunch. And then dinner, I do love making soups. I feel like I'm in a soup era right now because it's really easy to make a soup and it just lasts like all week. So yeah, soups, or I go out to dinner.
I love that.
Yeah.
So yummy. Okay, so I know you said your job is fully remote, but you have like a lot of in-person components to it, like work trips or dinners. You're always like on some panel. How do you navigate those? Like a work event or networking event where like it's going to be centered around food.
Yeah, that's really challenging. And I think something that was a big adjustment for me when I got into the corporate world was like learning how to navigate that or how to find gluten-free options. Thankfully, my internal team is really supportive of the fact that I have celiac disease. So if I'm ever doing something that's just like internal with like a team meeting or something like that, like everyone knows and is like, just order your own thing, like do whatever you need to do. We don't care. And then if it's something that's client facing or it's like a trade show or like a conference that I'm going to, I don't know. I feel like I always just sort of plan ahead and I'm like, I can just Uber Eats something to the convention center if we're like at a trade show, or I'll like go find something somewhere. The conferences that they normally provide free food, but it's never something that I can eat. So I just always end up like ordering something.
I know the buffets at those types of things are never, they never have a good option.
Yeah. Anyways, thankfully like my work will like supports that. So that's so good. That's helpful. It's not the biggest challenge, but it is just another thing to think of on top of everything else. Cause I manage our events and our campaigns at like the startup that I work for. So whenever we're on the ground somewhere, like I'm the main person in charge. So it's like I'm making sure everyone is where they need to be and like whatever we're promoting or activating on is like happening, or the panels, whatever it is. And then on top of that, I'm like, okay, I need to like feed myself. So I'll typically like wait till the end of the day to go like figure out what it is that I need to eat. So sometimes I'll just like have to skip meals because there's nothing for me to eat, which sort of sucks. Yeah.
No, it's difficult because it's just like another thing you have to think about, especially if you're traveling for work and you're in a place where like you don't know the options. And I feel like we're so lucky in New York, like there really are a lot of options everywhere and everything's always open late. But like I went on a work trip to St. Louis the other week and I just was like randomly to my coworkers, I was like, okay, I need to go like run to the grocery store and like get some things so I can have like a snack for tomorrow and breakfast. And they were like, what do you mean you're going to the grocery store? I'm like, I just need some like celiac safe stuff because like the only other option is Starbucks and like their cross contamination freaks me out a little bit. So
exactly. Yeah. Like it's that extra layer of everyone else is just there. It's like handed to them. It's like you have to go out of your way to go get something to fill your body that's safe for you.
No, totally. I'm curious too because you're the founder of the marketing group. So you're like, not only are you like attending work events as someone that like works at corporate and like running those with your full-time job, but you also are like curating and planning dinners specifically for people in their careers to talk about marketing. How does like your experience navigating like allergies and celiac disease and dietary restrictions shape like how you plan those events? And like, I'm just curious if it's like impacted that at all.
Yeah, that's a great question, because it is really interesting that I have an entire community built around dining when like I have food allergies. But like I founded the marketing group like for marketers in New York City to come together over food and sort of create like real genuine connections. And I didn't want myself to get in the way of that, I guess. Like it's for the community. So when I do pick, because there are some people who like food allergies are so common. There's a few people in the group who like avoid gluten. But regardless, whenever I pick a place that we dine at, I always just let them know that there are food allergies. They're pretty much always accommodating whenever you do, especially when you do private dining, because you're paying so much more with the food. But yeah, I always have to find a restaurant that when I'm negotiating and like setting up the contract, I'm just like, just letting you know that I have like a gluten and dairy allergy, like, and this would be accommodated. And they usually give me something. But again, when I'm at the dinners, if I don't eat enough, or if they only give me like a little like side thing that's not like the full meal and I'm still hungry after, like I don't really care. I'll just get something else to eat afterwards, because it's more about like the event and the experience for everyone else versus like me eating a whole meal. But it is a layer that I have to factor in, and it is like a little bit of a struggle, because I'm like hosting a dinner and then the waiter like comes to the side and is like, hey, let me walk you through the like what I can offer you, because I know you have like allergies. So it's like a little bit of a distraction. Yeah, I think it comes down to just how everyone else feels about the meal.
Yeah, no, totally, of course. I was just curious if it shaped at all like your planning in terms of accommodating for other people's dietary restrictions or allergies, because the other week we were like hosting a client meeting and we catered bagels for them, and I was like in charge of getting the bagels together, and like I was just like ordering bagels for everyone, because I'm like, I know I can't eat this, but like most people like bagels, and I didn't even think about asking anyone else if they also have dietary restrictions, because like I was immediately just like, okay, like everyone wants bagels. Yeah. But I was like, maybe I should have made a point to like ask in advance. And you would think like me of all people having a dietary restriction would think to ask that. But I was just immediately like, oh, like, no, let's do bagels. And now I'm like, in the future, maybe I should make a point to ask people so that everyone feels like they have something.
That's so interesting you said that, because, and that makes total sense, because I did the exact same thing like a couple years ago. The first time we had to bring in, we were like going to a client's office and doing like a lunch and learn, and then we catered, and I was the one in charge of that. And so I didn't even think about the allergy part. So we bring in all this catering, and this woman comes up to me and she's like, are there any gluten-free options? Like I don't eat gluten. And I was like, no, but that's crazy, because like I'm celiac. So, and then she was like, oh my God, I was like, I feel so bad. Like, and ever since then I make sure. But I was like, how did I not think of that? Again, like of all people, like I just assume that it's only me that has celiac, or that like has a food allergy, because it feels so not common. So
or just assume that the people that have like food allergies or dietary restrictions will just like not eat it, like how we would just kind of like skip out or like plan ahead and eat something else. But it's like, no, we might as well just have an option for everybody. But
so now I make a point to always have a gluten-free and then like a vegan option, or like combine the two. Anytime I do food for like a client or a team, or when I do my marketing group events, like I said, like I make sure that they can accommodate, and I let everyone know who's RSVP'd for my dinners. Like, please let me know if you have a food allergy so I can like let the staff know.
Yeah. No, that's so smart. I'm curious, you mentioned like your internal team is so nice and understanding about celiac disease. Do you have any advice for someone with celiac who's trying to communicate that to their coworkers, and maybe there's like a disconnect, or they're like not really understanding what it is?
So when I started at my current job, which was about 3 years ago, I had to sort of start introducing the fact that I was gluten-free. And like the first time I met my team in person, because we're totally remote, was at a company offsite. And so we were spending like a whole week together in Nashville, like dining and going to like Topgolf and whatever, all the things you do on like a company retreat type of thing. But I'm like meeting this team for the first time. I'm sort of scared. Like I'm also like really young in my career. So I didn't really know how to bring it up without like drawing unnecessary attention to myself. Like I don't like being like the reason why other people have to accommodate for me. And I think most people with celiac or with any like food allergy feel that way. Like, I don't want to get in the way of anything. And so it's like hard to speak up for yourself. So I just remember like quietly telling the waiter, and then one of like the people on our leadership team was like, oh, you have this like you have these allergies, like making sure that everything that was coming out was like okay for me, and sort of making me feel like it was okay to speak up. And then every time we like dined out after that, and ever since in the past 3 years that I've worked there, is like checking like, oh, is this food okay for you? Like, can we eat here? Like, can you check over the menu to make sure like this place that we're eating at is like okay for you to eat at? And so I think that just taught me in that experience that like just owning up to it. And so unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, I haven't gone through an experience where someone that I work with hasn't understood it. But I think the biggest advice is like speaking up for yourself, being confident in the fact that you have to like advocate for yourself and that you have celiac disease, and you have like very strict rules as to what you can and can't eat, and just making that clear when you are dining out with coworkers. And if they don't understand it, I guess I would probably send them any like resources that I can, or just try to like continuously, like hopefully the repetition like helps them understand. But that would be my best advice.
Yeah, no, that's really good advice. I feel like all of my coworkers are amazing, but I think like at first, whenever I try to explain it, they're just like, oh, you're just like trying to be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that like I've started to explain it is just that I have a gluten allergy, even though that's technically not exactly what it is.
Yeah,
but that's just
the
easiest way to communicate it, I feel like.
Yeah. Okay. That's like the simplest way. That's exactly what I say too.
Yeah.
Like, it's an allergy, but it's not really, but whatever. It's an allergy. It just makes them like alarms go off when you say that word.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Since you are a marketer, if we can get into a little discussion about like branding and gluten-free products, what is your opinion on like how brands and companies are doing to market gluten-free products responsibly? I know like in the gluten-free celiac TikTok community, there's always discussions about brands that have like a gluten-free label, and then when you actually look at the ingredients, it's not entirely gluten-free, or like there's a difference between being gluten-free versus like certified gluten-free or celiac safe.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just curious if you have any thoughts on that as a marketer.
Mm-hmm. No, it's a great point. I think it comes down to really people being aware of what celiac disease is and what the different types of gluten-free mean. And because that's not really widely known across all Americans, that the people probably who are making the decisions to label like whatever the like package of chips is that actually isn't gluten-free, but it says gluten-free in it without the like official gluten-free label, you know, maybe don't realize, or like that it could be not celiac safe, but it's like technically gluten-free. And they like, I feel like I noticed that label even before I was celiac, that the gluten-free label where it's just written in text versus like the official like gluten-free stamp, you know, that's in the corner. Yeah. I remember seeing that on all this packaging, and I was like, why is this everywhere? And I feel like they put it on there to increase sales because being gluten-free is such a trend. Mm-hmm. And I sort of hate that, like the way that the health and like food industry operates that way. It would be amazing if these like marketing leaders or whoever is designing like the packaging and what goes on the packaging thought a little more, I don't know, ethically, but that's sort of how it is. Like you see things packaged that are like 10 grams of protein, like this is a health, like all natural, just because it's technically a natural product, but it's really not like healthy for you at all. There's just like a lot of gray lines within how we can label our food in the US, which is super unfortunate because you as a consumer have to be that much more educated on like what you're consuming, regardless if you're celiac or not. So I wish that, I don't know, there was some like a forum or something that made them label their food in a specific way. I mean, there is the FDA, but I wish it was maybe a little more strict. Yeah. And so that it was easier to identify like what you could and couldn't eat versus like seeing the gluten-free and then being like, but is it really gluten-free? Because I don't trust this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Did you ever have an experience where you bought something and eat something that you thought was celiac safe and then you found out later that it wasn't? I feel like you know your stuff. I feel like
Yeah,
you do your research.
I feel like
you're on top of it.
I feel like I don't think I've actually ever consumed something, but because I'm so like strict about it, but I've seen packaging that will say gluten-free, and I'm like, oh, like let me see. Or like my boyfriend will buy me something, it says gluten-free on it, and I'm like, but it's not. I'm so sorry. Like, this was so sweet, but like, you have to take that one more step, which again, like, it confused him or whoever bought it for me. Like, that's sort of messed up. So I hate that. Yeah. What about you? Because you're also in marketing and advertising.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just one of those things that hopefully will change in the future with like labeling being, more transparent for consumers. But in the meantime, I think it's just important for people with celiac to understand, like, to really like read the ingredients list on everything and read the fine print and take the time to double check. When I was like I feel like you have been way more on top of like managing celiac than I have. Like, I remember when I was 22, like living in Chicago, like I would go to Target and I would see like a little gluten-free label, wasn't a certified label or anything, and I would just be like, oh, like this is good, I'll eat this. And like I was so not intentional about it and not double checking. I would just see the words gluten-free and be like, oh, okay, great. And I think a lot of people are like that. So I think it just is a matter of making people more aware that they do need to do more than just like look for a little gluten-free label.
No, exactly. That's why I think it's important to follow resources other than the packaging that can be misleading, like influencers or blogs or newsletters or whatever online, to see like what, or like dietitians online. I follow a few dietitians that really describe like, okay, what can and can't you eat? Yeah.
When was the last time you were glutened? Do you remember?
Okay, there was one recently, but I'm like forgetting what it was. But I have a good one from like, I'll just say this one. So when I first moved to New York City, which is almost 3 years ago, the night that I moved into my apartment, my brother was living in Boston at the time, and so I like brought him down to New York to come help me move in, and then let him put him up in a hotel and took him out to dinner as like my thank you for helping me move, because I didn't hire movers. So he like carried everything into my 4th floor walk up. And we went out to dinner, and in the middle of dinner I was like, my stomach sort of hurts. I got a pasta.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And I was like, my stomach sort of hurts, but I don't know, maybe it's whatever. And we like go home, and I'm like, I'm really not doing well right now. And like my EOE will also flare up if I have gluten. So like literally both were happening. Wow. And I had to make my turmeric tea. I had to like pull out of my boxes, like pull out my tea kettle and like find my tea and like make tea. And I was like, I need to be horizontal. So yeah, that was a traumatic move-in experience.
Oh my gosh, yeah, like welcome to New York.
Yeah, I know. And then I've never eaten at that restaurant again.
Do you think they just gave you the wrong pasta?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Or like it wasn't whatever safely made. But then, I feel like sometimes I get lax with it, and then I'm like, get a rude awakening. And I'm like, no, you really have to be careful with what you eat or your body will hate you.
Oh, totally. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's been a minute since I've been glutened, and I'm like, the other week I went to a restaurant and I got a burger, and it had like a gluten-free bun, and it was so delicious. And then I got home and like,
oh no.
I don't think I got glutened, but I was just like really bloated because like it was a ginormous burger, and I was like freaking out. I was like, oh my God, like what if I got glutened? And then sometimes I remember like it's also normal for your stomach to sometimes just hurt from like life. Like it doesn't necessarily mean that you got glutened. And I think I didn't, but like it's been like a solid year since I've been glutened, I think. So I'm like, it's coming.
I know.
But I need to not put that energy out there.
I'm the same way. I feel like it's at least once a year. Yeah. Something comes around and glutens me, unfortunately. But I'm the same way. If I get a burger, I'm like, this looks too good. Or the bun or whatever. I have to compare it with whoever I'm with.
Yeah.
Like, did I get the ugly bun? And like, does it taste dry? Like, then I'm good.
Yeah. No, when I got home, I like looked up on Google. I was like, okay, what did the other burgers look like? Yeah. And I was like, okay, mine definitely did not look like that. I do the same thing.
I'm like, what does Yelp say? If it doesn't look like that, then I'm good.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. This was such a fun episode. Wow. We have like so many things to chat about, being corporate celiac marketing, gluten-free girls. We were also talking before this, but Natasha and I actually met when we were both living in Chicago, and we're influencers there. Yeah. So it's like full circle, seeing each other in New York now. Yeah, but thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. This was so fun. Yeah, we haven't seen each other in like 3 years since we lived in Chicago, but we've been keeping up. So I'm so glad you made the move to New York City.
Yeah, thank you. Let our listeners know where they can find you on Instagram, TikTok.
Yeah. You can find me on Instagram at Natasha Badger, TikTok's Natasha.Badger, and LinkedIn if you're a corporate girl.
Oh,
You
yeah,
can
you're
find
becoming a
me-
LinkedIn influencer too.
Yeah,
I love it. Or you are, actually.
I don't know if I am. I don't know if I am yet, but we're on the journey.
Yeah.
So Natasha Badger, just my name.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you guys for listening. This was our very first guest episode, which is so exciting. We have more guests coming up, but next episode is going to be a solo. I'm going to be sharing what I wish my friends and family knew about celiac disease. So stay tuned for that episode. Don't forget to rate the show, follow us, and leave a 5-star review, and share this episode with a gluten-free friend, especially if they're also an NYC corporate girl, because this is the perfect episode for them.
Love it.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
See you next week. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Celiac Diaries podcast. I hope you're leaving with a tip, a story, or just a little inspiration to live your best life with celiac. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow the show, share it with a friend, or leave a review. I'll see you back here next Wednesday. And until then, stay well.